Hello, it's Andy again from the Egocast channel, and I've noticed that it's been a long time since I've done a really, legitimate Riley video. I've done I know everybody just went, "What?" I've done a couple of, goofy ones where I just got up to where she said the first stupid thing and then I made a joke. But she hasn't really done a video in a long time where it's so cringeworthy that it's what in the fuck. But all that changed today. So here we go.
Hey everybody, so I get a lot of questions from people across my various social media platforms.
See, right there I'm calling bullshit. She's blocked everybody on every fucking media platform, so how is she possibly seeing questions? See, and then that's where you do with the sunglasses.
Some of those questions are nice, but a lot of them aren't. I usually don't reply to those kinds of questions because I don't think it will be productive.
I don't know. I want to laugh at that, but at the same time as I laugh at it, I think to myself, just internet people, just people on the internet, generally, unless you're into doing that sort of thing, no, people on the internet that ask you pretty much any question, it's usually not worth fucking answering, because it's some sort of dumb bullshit. But that's internet, man.
I don't have time to waste arguing with every asshole on the planet, and a lot of the time, I don't think they genuinely want to know an answer. These people are strangers to you. If you don't know who they are personally, they're strangers to you. I don't care how much you talk to them on the internet or any of that kind of shit. They're pretty much strangers to you. I mean, come on, man. They're strangers to you. So they care about as much as you would expect any stranger to care about you. Which is, to the human degree. And even sometimes that you're lucky. What do you expect? That they're strangers to you? One of the questions I still get all the time is, how can you be a girl and non-binary? I get this question so much, in fact, that I made a whole video about it. Sometimes people asking this question are genuinely confused and just looking for clarification, and that's totally cool. But other times, people are just trying to have a gotcha moment where they expose my feminist hypocrisy.
And see, she says this now, and one of my things about this is that, trans people that are like Riley, they think that the problem comes from people being unwilling to accept whatever. More often than not, what it is you're a rarity. I don't know how often you've seen a horse in your life, but when you see a horse, if you don't see one all the time, if you don't live on a fucking farm, you see a horse, you kind of go, "The fucking horse!" And you want to touch it and hug it and talk to it and ride it and fucking whatever. But, and usually they're police horses, and you kind of go, "Cop horse." And it takes a little bit of the luster off of it. Imagine, though, if you're just walking down the street in your town or city or whatever, and just a fucking horse comes fucking walking by. You're gonna have some fucking questions, right? That's what it's like for people. So, but it's different with trans people, because there's some trans people that are fucking all about it. There's some guys that are pretty much out in drag, in show drag. And if you don't understand that there's a difference, But there's a big difference. Like, you know, so people see that and they go, what the fuck? And it's kind of like you're doing that because you want to get an interaction. You want to be noticed. You want to get an interaction so that you can then get upset because somebody decided to go, what's up? And then you can be upset now because this person's a bigot and they're not accepting you, so that you can then draw them into a fight. You know, like, that's the way that some people react to trans people now. You guys came off pretty aggressive when you were getting companies shut down and shit. Like, getting people fired, that kind of stuff. That's aggressive. That puts a fear in people. When you're taking people's livelihoods from them, you become known as an aggressive group. So people don't know how to react to you. They see on the street and go, I don't even want to talk to that person because God knows what fucking trouble I might accidentally land in because I can't read their fucking mind and I don't know if they're a they or if they're a she or he, fucking who knows. So,
like, if you ask me how I can be non-binary and a girl, and then I go to your profile and your last 10 tweets are you ranting about how there are only 2 genders and non-binary people don't exist, I know you're not genuinely wondering how I'm non-binary.
Alright, so this next part is very important. I can't exactly remember why right now, but I do know that it's very important because I have no idea why I made this cut, but I know I made a cut early in the video that was just because the next part was very important. So either I'm going to look real stupid or I'm going to go, this is why it was so important. But pay attention.
And a girl. Because you don't even think I'm non-binary. People like that often just want to fight. They want attention, and they think that by posing a question in a semi-innocent way that they'll get me to respond and get sucked into a whole debate with...
Okay, here's what happened. I was thinking about this part. And I so badly wanted to go on that last tangent that I I went into this bit's tangent before. Professional YouTuber, ladies and gentlemen. I have actually been paid by Google. I can actually call myself, without it being kind of a tongue-in-cheek joke, professional YouTuber. Professionalism is what you come here for, and it's what I make fun of people when they don't have it. But hey, at least I haven't walked off the show yet.
So most of the time I ignore those questions. But that doesn't mean they're entirely not worth discussing.
See, that's another funny one. Like, usually she ignores those questions, but that doesn't mean that they're not good questions. Well, I've got some questions that I imagine usually you ignore that I think would be some pretty good questions. How do I get in on because you've blocked me everywhere, Riley? So I can't even ask you like good, reasonable, not being an asshole questions. Maybe I need to see if Jesse can get his way into Riley's heart somehow. I don't know. But, like, yeah. Who cares about the people asking the question? People asking the question, inconsequential. If Richard Spencer asks me a question, I will put it with the same validity as a question that I was asked from you, Riley. Or from anybody else. Because it's not, I'm taking 2 extremes and saying, oh, treat them straight. But anybody that asks me a question, I don't, I'll talk to anybody. I don't give a shit. I've talked to people with Nazi, like, swastika tattoos, and it's like, what's up with the tattoos? And he told me the whole story about how he got them when he was younger, because he was into that kind of shit, found out later in life that fucking made him an asshole, and it's a shit ton of money to take tattoos off, and he had a shit ton of fucking swastika tattoos, like a bunch of them. And, but if I were to just prejudge that person and go, fucking swastika tattoos, clearly he's a Nazi, I don't want to associate with him. But if I would have gone up to him and said, what's up with the tattoos, man? And he would have said, fucking, I hate black people. I'd have been like, well, that's cool. And then I would know, not somebody I want to interact with. But at least I know. You know, there's a big difference between thinking somebody's a piece of shit and knowing somebody's a piece of shit. Big difference.
So I want to make some videos addressing rude questions that people ask me. Maybe these questions are asked maliciously, maybe not. I really don't know people's intent behind their questions. But this isn't about the individual who's asking the question. This is about the question itself. Hopefully I can use my channel to talk about these things in general and clear up some misconceptions for people.
Dude, oh my god. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I haven't done a Riley video like this in a long time. I don't know what it is. I'm so excited to get all of my really cool points out. I am always fucking ahead one. Doesn't matter who's asking the question. The question is what we should focus on. Stopping it here because you put in there in the top here, making YouTube videos about ideas instead of people who knew it was possible. And like, you know, come on. A lot of people are making, you're the person with the shit ideas. Am I making it, do you think I'm making a video about you or your ideas? Because I gotta tell you, I'm making a video about your fucking ideas, Riley, because I could give a shit less about you. But you are the vessel with which the ideas are being transmitted, right? And if worse comes to worse, and I have to go with base tactics, right? I will say, do you want to be this person? Does this look cool to you in any way? Huh? You know? Because this is the person with these ideas. Is this what you want to do? Is this what you want to be? Is this the type of person you want to be? I can make that joke. Because I'm also trying to be funny.
So the first one that I want to start with is about the difference between gender identity and gender expression. I think it's possible for a trans woman to have a beard and still be a trans woman. I also think it's possible for a trans man to wear makeup and still be a trans man.
Well, look. I think it's possible for people to consider this a dragon. But as everybody in their right fucking mind know, that is not a dragon. Because a dragon has 2 front legs. It has 2 back legs, 2 front legs, and a pair of wings. That is a dragon. That is not this. This is a wyvern. A wyvern has 2 back legs and fucking wings. As you see depicted here, wyvern. Back legs. Front arms that are the wings. No front legs. That is not a fucking... This isn't a fucking dragon. God damn it. It's a motherfucking wyvern. But I can totally understand how some people would want to call that a dragon, even though... Fucking wyvern.
However, I brought this up recently online and someone asked me basically if they really had gender dysphoria, why would they present like that? They didn't ask it that politely, but that was the gist of it. So there are a few aspects to this that we need to go through. The first part is that gender dysphoria and transgender are not synonyms. Many trans people experience gender dysphoria, but not all of them. Being transgender is when your gender identity, your internal sense of your gender, is not the same as the gender you were assigned at birth.
Assigned at birth. Your genders aren't assigned. It's not like a doctor, you know, takes the baby girl cream and rubs it on the baby girl's crotches and then they get vaginas, and he takes penis cream and rubs it on. It doesn't happen. You're not assigned. That's not when you get your penis. Your penis develops in the womb. You're born pre-assigned. Like... Your gender gets assigned by your mother when your cells begin to split. That's when the gender gets fucking assigned, Riley. And honestly, I don't even think it's that's when it happens. I think it happens months into it. I don't fucking really know. Don't really fucking care. Don't bother to tell me in the comments. I really don't give a shit. Anyways, so... but fucking assigned... Whatever.
But people love to argue semantics, and I'm doing it, and that's what it is. That's what it is. It's semantics. Goddamn the fact that it took me that long to come down to, oh shit, this is just fucking semantics. Why am I bothering?
So if you were assigned male at birth, but now you identify as a woman, you're a transgender woman, and vice versa for trans men. Gender dysphoria is a feeling of distress associated with gendered aspects of your life. It can be broken down into two main categories: body dysphoria and social dysphoria. Body dysphoria for trans women can be things like strongly disliking the masculine features of your...
Alright, so we go into fucking body dysphoria. Body dysphoria, mental disorder. Riley never says mental disorder. Like, not in this video. Honestly, I don't think I've ever heard Riley say mental disorder. She doesn't say mental disorder in this. Body dysmorphia, mental disorder. You don't like something about your body. It can present in many different ways. Some people identify it as being transgendered because they say, I don't like my penis. I hate my penis. So clearly, that means I want to have a vagina. Right? But there are people that has body dysmorphia where it's like, you know, I don't really like my right arm. You know, there's just something about it. I've always felt that I should not have a right arm, and for some reason I have a fully functional right arm and it doesn't belong. And there are people that are really like that, and they get their arms fucking removed and shit. One lady had a doctor fucking melt her eyes out with like cleaning solvent or something like that, because she believed that she should be blind. You know, body dysmorphia presents in many different ways. The most popularized of which being the whole transgender thing. But it's still a mental thing. Like, you know, not everybody thinks that way. And just because you think that way doesn't mean that's your natural state. It happens to be your natural state, but it's not the natural state you should be in. You should be here with the rest of us, thinking that we all should be, you know, with right and left arms. You know, like, so, but those people are fucking crazy, right? The people that want to burn their eyeballs out, they're nuts, right? The people that don't like their penises or their vaginas, they should be seen as perfectly normal because, you know, it's an identity now.
Social dysphoria is...
Social dysphoria. I don't know if this is a Riley original. I don't know if this is the cissexism. I don't know if this is the cissexism of this video. But I've never heard of social dysphoria before, but I gotta give it to her. Makes total sense. If you tell me in the comments that it is actually a real thing, totally believe it. If everybody's like, man, that's bullshit, Riley made that shit up, she made up a fucking good one, and you gotta give it to her. Social dysphoria. It's perfect. Please, Riley, explain to us social dysphoria.
Things like having discomfort hearing your birth name, disliking the pronouns of the sex you were assigned at birth used to refer to you, disliking using the bathroom of the sex you were assigned at birth, or disliking when people perceive you as the sex you were assigned at birth. Some trans people experience more body dysphoria than social dysphoria, and some trans people experience more social dysphoria than body dysphoria. But they're still both forms of gender dysphoria.
So you would say that they're both mental disorders. I mean, if you're going to call it dysphoria, that's this mental disorder. So you can say that those people that don't like, you know, being seen as their gender, that they have a problem with that. It's kind of like people that can't walk past a building without counting all the windows facing them. You know, it's the same type of thing. People that every time they hear a bell, they have to clap. Like, I don't know, fucking that kind of shit. If they don't do it, try not to sneeze, bitch. You know, I understand what it's like to have something that, when it happens, it irks you. When I used to have a job, my whole thing was I liked my little work desk to have everything fucking in its place, because then I knew where shit was, and if something was missing, I knew it was fucking not there, and I had to find it, because I took my job seriously. So I fucking had all my shit laid out in perfect fucking spots. And it was always the same. And my boss found out that it was always the same. So he'd come into the room and he'd move shit just to fuck with me. And for whatever reason, I would move it back.
But, you know, it's like, try not to do it. Try to just fucking have a messy desk if you like to have a nice, clean desk. It's fucking tough. I get it. But you're dealing with other people here, you know? I used to yell at him for fucking with my desk. Was it right of me to yell at him for fucking with my desk? Absolutely. Because he was fucking with my desk on purpose because he wanted to be an asshole. So it was right of me to yell at him. If somebody walks up to you, calls you ma'am, double takes and says, oh, I'm sorry, sir, right? Okay, I imagine that could be upsetting. Because I imagine that happens to you a lot. But you gotta look at your situation. You know? It's not up to everybody else around you to be able to read your mind, bitch. And people get into so much trouble these days over this kind of shit. You could be an effeminate dude. You could be an effeminate gay guy that happens to get really, really upset when people mistake you for a fucking trans woman. There are those people too. And they'll take your job away just as fast as anybody else. You know? So fucking... It's stressful. You've now become a type of person that it is just naturally stressful to deal with from the word go. Is that what you want to be? That's how you get acceptance? No. That's how you get slaves.
And trans people even experience these things to varying degrees. It's not like an on-off switch where you either completely have gender dysphoria or you don't have it at all. You could have severe dysphoria, medium dysphoria, mild dysphoria, or even no dysphoria.
What's wrong with the dysphoria we got? Fucks you up pretty good. If you don't get that reference, seriously, stop watching the video and search what's wrong with the beer we got. Search that. That's all you need to search. What's wrong with the beer we got? And then watch fucking probably the first video. Funniest fucking shit you'll ever see in your life. Hysterical.
Because it is possible to feel a genuine connection to a gender that's different than the one you were assigned at birth without necessarily feeling significant discomfort around gendered aspects of your life.
Well, isn't it also reasonable to say that you can feel a connection with an opposite gender and not feel like you then have to be gay or have to be trans because of it? Can't you just be a dude that fucking feels a connection with being female? Like your feminine side or whatever? Like... everybody wants to fit in their little boxes.
Like, feeling that your gender is a certain way isn't necessarily the same as having a strong distress towards certain aspects of your body or the way people perceive or refer to you. Plus, the amount of dysphoria that you feel can fluctuate over time, especially throughout someone's transition, if that's something they decide to do.
The word transition means to go from one state to another. You know, liquids, transition from liquids into gas, and this sort of thing. Right? But it is a state of moving from one direction to another. You can't call yourself a trans person if you're not going to be transitioning to anything. That you're a limbo person. Like you're in a constant state of in between. Like, I don't even know what the fuck that... You'd make up a whole new term, Riley. What would that even be? Right? So... You're grouping it even we're fracturing up people even more. Fantastic. But like when it really just turns into it's whatever fucking you just want to call yourself, man, now we got attack helicopters. And the fucking crazy thing is, the thing that made me just really laugh my ass off, all the people that are talking about... Undoomed must be laughing his ass off. And equal parts fucking pissed. Fucking people are talking about... People saying that they're attack helicopters on fucking Tonight Show and shit like that. And I can almost guarantee you 90% of the people that get that reference don't get that it came from Undoomed. But he's got to be laughing his fucking ass off. It really is just whatever the fuck... You know, wyverns can be dragons...
Who cares what difference it makes? You know, whatever.
Like, the reason that a lot of trans people have surgeries or take hormones is to alleviate some of that gender dysphoria. And so the changes that can happen to a trans person mentally and physically during their transition can oftentimes reduce the amount or severity of their gender dysphoria. So, all of that being said, let's think about a couple of hypothetical examples of trans people for our original question. Why would a trans woman have a beard? Well, maybe she doesn't have gender dysphoria around her beard. Maybe she experiences body dysphoria about other parts of her, just not centered around her.
What's wrong with the dysphoria we got? They fuck you up pretty. What are some of the other possible reasons for dysphoria? Riley?
Maybe she feels a lot of social dysphoria, but not so much body dysphoria. Or maybe she just has mild gender dysphoria or none at all. Those are all possibilities. And I'd say the same thing could be possible for a trans man wearing makeup. Maybe he just doesn't have dysphoria at all. Maybe his dysphoria is mild, or maybe he just feels dysphoria in other aspects of his life that aren't makeup. So that's all definitely possible. But let's say we have two stereotypical trans people who experience very severe gender dysphoria. One is a trans woman and one is a trans man. Why would the trans woman have a beard? I can think of a few reasons.
She said she like Riley doesn't get the point. So many times Riley just doesn't get the point. Riley doesn't get the point. Watch along as Riley fucking loses the point altogether.
Maybe she shaves so often that it irritates her skin, and she wanted to take a break to give her skin some time to rest. Maybe she knows that she has an event coming up in a few days, so she wants to let her beard grow out before the event and shave right beforehand to get the closest shave possible. Maybe her beard grows super fast, and she did shave this morning, but because it's already late in the evening, she's starting to have some 5 o'clock shadow appear. Maybe she can't afford razors and shaving cream right now.
Maybe she can't afford razors. What is she, fucking 8? Don't answer that. I don't.
Maybe she woke up late and didn't have time to shave. Maybe she's having laser hair removal done and they told her not to shave for a week after the treatment. Maybe she gets really bad ingrown hairs that are super painful every time she shaves. That's everything I can think of, but I'm sure there are more reasons.
And I seriously make you guys watch all this shit. Like, I could have cut... Honestly, I could have cut this down into probably a fucking 3-minute video. But I had to watch it so many times. Fuck y'all. You gotta watch it with me.
And the thing is, this hypothetical trans woman would still be a trans woman even if she had a beard. The appearance of a beard doesn't automatically invalidate your gender. If a cisgender woman has a beard because of a medical condition like PCOS,
people still look at her and go, look, there's a lady with a beard. Like, you really missing the point here, Riley. Oh my god.
she is still a woman. Facial hair isn't the one great determiner of gender. Now let's talk about the hypothetical trans man who experiences severe gender dysphoria. Why would he wear makeup? Maybe after years and years of applying it regularly before coming out, he got...
See, I'm an asshole. I'm not a fucking asshole. I'm not gonna make you sit through all that shit. But it's literally like another 2 minutes of every fucking You missed the point, Riley. The reason why people would say, if you're a trans woman, why would you want to walk around with a beard, is because people just kind of assume that if you're a man and you want to be a woman, you would want to be seen as a woman, right? If you're a woman walking around with a beard, that confuses people. Makes people kind of go, you just want to be noticed, right? If I were to walk around with a fucking afro clown wig, people would look at me because I would be the only person that they've ever seen in their life just walking down the street with an afro fucking clown wig. It's the horse walking through town. Like, you look at that and go, what the fuck is up with that? Because you know there's a story there, right? You see a fucking woman with a beard and you think to yourself, she's gotta be from a freak show, because not everybody walks around with a beard if you're a woman. Most of the people that do, from freak shows, right? So you kind of go, I bet there's a good story there. And when you find out that the story is, I just expect everybody to be okay with me walking around with a beard and looking like a woman. I just expect that everybody's going to think that's just dandy. No, because that's unusual. If more women walk around with beards, it will become a thing that people will begin to naturally just be okay with. It's the same way that people have just become to naturally be okay with more and more black people. It's the same way that people have become okay with more and more gay people. It's the same way that everybody's going to become okay with trans people. And then we're going to work on age fluid people, I guess, after the fucking, you know, it's the slow acceptance movement. Believe me, you want to go for the slow con. Just let people get used to you. You know, don't shove it the fuck down everybody's throat. That's when you get your resistance. Just be you. Just do you, man. And answer the fucking questions. Accept the fact that you're a trailblazer. That people in the future will talk about you as a great hero of the cause of acceptance of trans people because you were so fucking weird and out there that people were willing to accept women with beards because they were normal by comparison.
I'm sure there are a lot of possible reasons for this trans guy to wear makeup. Cis men can wear makeup too, and they're still men.
They're gay men. Man, not, like, whatever. Yeah, okay. I wore makeup in high school. You want to know why? Because I was a fucking stage performer. There you go.
Putting makeup on your face doesn't turn you into a girl, whether you're cis or trans. And honestly, you don't know what someone is going through. Maybe that trans woman with a beard is comfortable with her beard and enjoys presenting like that. Or maybe this really is just a fucking dragon. Maybe I'm fucking crazy. I don't know. I swear to God, it looks like a wyvern to me. When I read the books and I fucking saw the word dragon, I imagined when they translated it to film, it was going to be a fucking dragon, but it's a piddly ass little fucking wyvern. I wanted cool dragons. We all get fucking shit wyverns. The only bad thing is y'all fucking rubes don't understand you're getting fucked. I wanted kick-ass fucking dragons, man. Piddly-ass fucking wyverns. Wyverns are like the bitch of the dragon kingdom. Gives her severe dysphoria and she wants to shave it off as soon as possible. Maybe that trans man loves rocking makeup, or maybe he has severe dysphoria every time he puts it on to go to work. You really don't know what's happening in someone else's life. You don't know their experience of their gender. You don't know what internal struggles they have. And honestly, it's none of your business. I don't think you need to concern yourself with why someone has a beard or is wearing makeup. It's not difficult to just let people live their lives.
See, it's not just difficult to let people live their lives, man. And sometimes you just gotta let some bigoted motherfuckers just be bigoted motherfuckers. You gotta accept the fact that you can't change the fucking world. Except through time. And through just being. Like, one of the funniest things that I heard was a complaint from a transgendered person who said that it was bullshit that somebody told her, "Oh, you're so cool. I didn't expect you to be so cool. I thought you were going to be all like weird and stuff." And she was very insulted by that. That made me immediately think, you're somebody who's fucking doing good work for the cause. You're a normal fucking person. And you're beginning to help other normal people see that fucking trans people can be normal people too. Because that's all people want. People want to walk out their fucking house and they want to walk out into the world and they want to have a normal fucking day. When does shit go bad for you? When something abnormal fucking happens. Goddamn wreck on the fucking expressway. Now it's going to take forever for me to get to work. It's abnormal. Doesn't usually happen. Pisses you the fuck off. Because it's a, it's a shitty thing. But there can be wondrous things too. A horse walking down the fucking road. It's an amazing sight. You want to see that kind of wonder and shit. And there are some people out there that would love to run into a trans person just so that they could be like, "Oh, I just wanted to fucking meet a real life trans person." Like, you're an oddity. You take up fucking, 10% of the fucking population of the world? Come on, man. I've met 3 trans people in my life. 3! That's ridiculous. But I guess I'm just blessed. Like, whatever. But most people live their entire lives and never run into a trans person. So you're an oddity. And as long as you're an oddity, you're going to be seen as an oddity. And when people see trans people every day, when I was young, first time I saw a black person, I was like, holy shit, black person. wow, that's unusual. And as I saw more and more black people, it just became a fucking black person. Who cares? You know, like, been there, done that. You know, I don't want to do the you see one black person, you've seen them all, because. But, like, you know, when you get to the point where you run into 4 or 5 transgendered people in the course of a fucking week, people ain't gonna give a shit no more. So there you go. There's your fucking acceptance. That's how the shit happens. That's how.
And what I think all of this boils down to is the difference between gender identity and gender expression. These two things don't always line up. Sometimes there are cis girls who like to express their gender in a masculine way, but that doesn't make them trans. Sometimes there are cis boys who like to express their gender in a feminine way, but that doesn't make them trans either.
Right. Riley. Yeah, I know, and I know you script your fucking your videos, dude, because you did a whole how I make a video fucking video. I know how you make your videos. You script your shit. You didn't read that part and think that's kind of ironic. Like, what the fuck are you doing there, Riley?
And sometimes there are trans girls who express their gender in a more masculine way, and sometimes there are trans boys who express their gender in a more feminine way. People can express themselves however they want. That doesn't change their internal sense of their gender. I think we need to support people, whether they're cis or trans, presenting however they feel comfortable.
I agree. Just, you know, you do you. But you know what? When I go to the bar, when I go to my buddy's bar at fucking, you know, midnight or whatever to just, you know, grab a quick appetizer or some shit like that and a beer and just have a chat, like, I go out in my shitty old beat up fucking shoes and my pajama pants and my ratty ass fucking shit t-shirt with my shitty fucking hat on backwards, and I know I'm gonna get looks and I might even get questions, and I don't give a fuck, because I know that I'm walking out of the door looking like I just rolled out of bed, and that's gonna be an oddity for people. Not everybody fucking sees that shit. So I know that there's a good possibility I'm gonna have to ask questions. You know? Like, and I'm not saying that you're inviting the questions. I'm not inviting the questions when I decide that I don't want to actually put on fucking real people adult clothes and fucking go out. I get it. You know? And yeah, it's kind of annoying, but I choose to do it. I choose to make a spectacle of myself. You don't have to make a spectacle of yourself, Riley. It's not a necessity. It isn't a necessity of life. But you do it, and like I said, you're doing good work for the cause, because everybody else is normal compared to you.
I really don't like the idea of telling all men that they have to present a certain way and telling all women that they have to present a certain way.
But you are all about telling all men that if they're not willing to suck dick, then they're fucking sexist. And telling all women that if they're not willing to eat pussy, then they're all fucking sexist. Or that if they're not willing to suck dick, then they're all sexist. Like, you're more than happy to fucking make that generalization, bitch.
In fact, I think all of this stuff applies to gender non-binary people as well. Because a lot of people feel like non-binary people have to express themselves in a perfectly androgynous way. But sometimes non-binary people like to, or have to, express themselves in ways that others may perceive as more masculine or more feminine. And that's okay, because how you express your gender isn't the same as how you internally experience your gender.
Well, how you internally experience your gender isn't the same way that I fucking externally perceive it when I see you walking down the fucking street or when I'm talking to you wherever. So, where's your empathy for your fellow man, Riley? What in the fuck? Like, do you just not care about the lives of other people? How do you know that I wasn't raped by a transgendered woman when I was a child? Like, fucking... It's just such an asshole. It's cool when it applies to me, but when it applies to other people, I don't give a flying fuck. That's all Riley is. Ugh.
I really don't want to go around insisting that all men act and present totally masculine all the time, and all women act and present totally feminine, and all non-binary people act and present totally androgynous. I'd rather we allow people the freedom to dress and act and present and express themselves however they see fit or however they're most comfortable.
Hey, man. I don't give a shit. Like, and you know, not perceiving people in these generalities, that stuff works out in your favor more often than not. You have no idea how many times I've walked into a strip club and I saw a girl walking around on those uncomfortable fucking heels, and I'm like, man, take your shoes off. It's just terrible. And they're like, oh, thank God. And they take their shoes off, and they're like, this is great. You know? Not everybody has to fit their role perfectly. Everybody has the right to be comfortable if they want to be comfortable. I like jammy pants. It's warm right now, so I'm wearing shitty fucking like sports shorts, but you know, it's transitioning to sport short weather. But like everybody just needs to get off of everybody else's back. But I gotta tell you, I don't see it in the real world the way that you seem to perceive it in the real world through comments on social media. Like, you need to get a real job, Riley. You need to really get out there in the fucking world and you know, really do some fucking grassroots shit. Really talk to the people, Riley, and find out just how inconsequential you and your entire fucking movement of your perceived horseshit really is to everyday Americans. They don't care. They just don't. It's very rare when you find the people that really give a shit, and usually you only find them online. So it kind of makes you wonder, if you're finding all this shit online and not really so much in the real life, what are you doing?